Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing another very powerful team featuring Azumarill. Azumarill has never been better in the Great League, and it will be in the back on this very tanky team here, and also on this team, Serperior, a Pokemon I was very excited for. Made it into my sleeper picks for Season 16 of the Great League, and that is for good reason. This thing, very versatile, much improved with the Aerial Ace buff, and also on this team, none other than good old Lickitung on the lead. I think Lickitung probably the best lead you can run right now, and we will find out why later on in this video. Yeah, guys, like I said, Azu has never been better. So many teams are often double weak, sometimes triple weak to an Azumarill. And here we go, Medicham lead as a Lickitung. We do win the 0s and the 2s. But I don't think it's wise to go for the 2s. I think we don't win the 1s, so I think you either try and go for the 0s, because by the time you the 2s would come into play, Lickitung is already too low. So I generally just play out the 0s with Medicham. And if we can grab the shield advantage, if they know the matchup, they will know that they can take this in the 1s. So we either play the 0s or the 1s. The 1s, we will soft lose lead, take the shield advantage, and then align Azu onto the Medicham. Now, Medicham could have a number of things in the back. A lot of people do like to pair it with a Gligar, which is why Azumarill is very strong. And right on cue, there it is. Gligar in its shadow form, Azumarill. Core breaking, yet another Great League team here. You love to see it. So, gonna go for this Ice Beam, and they shield. So that drew an alarm for me, my friends. There is no reason to shield there, as this is not a flippable matchup when shields are up. So we aggressively pivot into Serperior, making a hard team read that they are very, very weak to an Azumarill in the back. I don't know what it could be. They led Medi. They could have made the conscious decision to make themselves ABA weak to a Charmer, perhaps with a Sableye. I had a suspicion, but I really didn't know. But it was a Sableye right on cue. So they did make the conscious decision to make themselves ABA weak to Charm on the lead, and that is beautiful. So I was kind of debating if I should take out this Medi. At the last minute, I tried hitting the move, but I was actually glad that on my initial plan was just to let the Medi take us out, which is why we didn't throw a move earlier. And that's because I didn't want to give this Sableye any more farm than necessary. And I wanted to have a nice little energy lead as well on the Azumarill, because I knew we could land the play rough, shield their one move that they are only going to get to, and the bubbles will take out the Sableye. Azumarill putting in the work, quite lethal in the back in this current form of the Great League meta. Good game, well played to them. This team, quite tanky, quite thick, a little soft to a Registeel, but as I always say, one Pokemon cannot do it all. But here we go. Not a very good lead here. Venusaur, not good. Lickitung does not win this. But we are going to stay in a little bit to put the pressure on the Venusaur. Of course, Azu is the worst matchup. Serperior might actually be the best matchup, I do believe, on this team, as we do outpace the super effective Aerial Aces, and we do comfortably tank a Sludge Bomb. So grabbing an early shield, that was interesting. So we made the read. They're weak to a Licky in the back. We catch this resisted Frenzy Plant on our very tanky Serperior, and they were very weak to a Licky in the back. They had a Sableye lurking, and this is where Serperior really shines. A very strong Pokemon in the neutral matchups. Frenzy Plant just hits everything super hard in this meta, and we're going to let this go. I'm going to trust in the tanky rank 14 Serperior here and take out this Sableye, as we do survive the foul play with an Aerial Ace. Although it would have been fine just to let Serperior go down, but I don't know if they undercharged. Let me know, guys. Do you think they undercharged that foul play to get more farm on the Venu? Looking back now, I think they might have, but it is a moot point. The Sableye's gone. We're back in here on this Venusaur with our Licky, and we're gonna tip show our hand here a little bit. We're weak. We can't have the Venusaur that healthy, but they've got a Carbink in the back. This is amazing. Even without Hydro Pump, we do quite well up against Carbink because we are quite bulky. Not as bulky as the Carbink, but our bubbles are doing super effective to it. Gonna fake a Hydro Pump, grabbing the shield from the Carbink. You love to see it. But we are tanky enough to withstand this fast move pressure, and as you can see, Carbink hits like a wet noodle. That Moonblast, one of the hardest hitting fairy moves in the game with stab, did nothing to Azumarill, holy smokes. And now we go play rough. That has stab. Both moves hit for neutral. You go for the harder hitting move with stab when shields are down. And now what I believe I want to do is shield up this Rock Slide and get as close to back-to-back Ice Beams as possible. You cannot store two. They get a little antsy. They throw the Venusaur in without having a move stored. And we're saying bye-bye to the Venu. And now it is smooth sailing. We just forced them to throw with Licky. They weren't going to farm down our very tanky rank 1 Lickitung here. And we do force them to throw, and it is all over. We are just a couple of bubbles off from the almost said Hyper Beam, holy smokes, Ice Beam. We're saying bye-bye to the Carbink, courtesy of Azumarill, closing the game yet again. Good game, well played. This team really puts in the work. A balanced team that has strong neutral play across the board. But here we go. Beautiful lead, and coming in the form of Jellicent. They safe swap a Gligar. And you got to be careful on these Gligar safe swaps. It could be double flyer. So generally, if they safe swap a Gligar, of course, you're going to want to align your Azu onto it. And especially knowing that they have a Jelly. So this is fine here, but some teams could have a second flyer in the back, so generally you can stay in with Licky, especially knowing that you have a Serperior for the Jellicent, which is why we're not shielding here. We don't need switch. Azu does not do very well up against Azumarill at all. We just want to pressure shields, and that is exactly what Azumarill is doing. To perfection, I might add. Snagging and securing a 2 shield advantage, and just going to align Licky here. We didn't mind letting Azu go down again because we have 2 amazing answers to this Jellicent. It can't really go anywhere with the 2 Pokemon remaining. So they baited with a Night Slash. That's very, very interesting. I don't know if you want to be going Night Slash on Gligar. I think the Aerial Ace is quite nice to have in this meta. It does have stab. But we do take out the Gligar, and they've got a Charmer lurking in the back here. So we're just going to maximize our lick damage, but we got a frame drop, forcing us to play to a CMP tie that we definitely know we do not win. That was unfortunate, and we were not willing to give up that final shield. We're just going to trust in Serperior. That frame drop was very, very frustrating at the time, not going to lie. Oh my gosh, I just about lost my mind when that happened. But yeah, the frame drops were pretty rough yesterday. Makes sense. Great League back. Everybody probably waited for it, so the servers were probably putting in some overtime there, but still not good. But Serperior is here to save the day, bail us out. Holy smokes, we get to this Frenzy Plant, no shields. We're saying bye-bye to the Charmer. Oh man, Serperior came in clutch there, saving the day for us. Good game, well played. Man, Serperior was very clutched, very much improved, saved the day in that last one. But here we go. Deoxys lead again. This is why Lickitung, I believe, one of the best leads you can possibly run in the meta right now, because there are so many people preparing for Medicham, running Deoxys leads. So Lickitung may not seem very good because the counters are super effective, but they don't have stab, and Lickitung wins all even shield scenarios up against Deoxys, so we are quite alright to play out the zeros here. Generally what they will do is Psycho Boost and Dip, giving up Switch, which is also not it's fine for you as well, but if they want to stay in, that's quite all right, because Azumarill doesn't necessarily like to see Deoxys. So we do win lead in the zeros. 1 HP remaining. They have a Dugong in the back. So in terms of team reading, Deoxys Dugong Core can often have an Umbreon in the back. That's the most popular variation of the Deoxys Dugong Core. But Serperior does not like this super effective fast move pressure, so we're forced to bring in our Azumarill. They could also have a Gligar in the back. That is also a very popular variation with this season. So either way, it's very, very awkward because you have to bring Azu onto this thing, and they're not playing this correctly, friends. They should just be going straight Drill Run. Dugong beats Azumarill in the 2s and 1s, going straight Drill Run. The reason why, you outpace to the Drill Runs. They hit reasonably hard, and you are quite tanky. And you do win CMP. So they're not playing this correctly. My only guess is that perhaps they're going for a timeout strat, but they don't know what we have in the back. We're now even. They're going straight Icy Wind. Very perplexing play by them. Perhaps they are seeing their only win con is to go for a timeout strat. That's the only thing I can think of. They do finally go for the Drill Run, and they look to CMP tie us to another move here. So we will shield to get off this damage. If they let this go, it would be fantastic for us because that should just about put this Dugong within a nice farm down range. It is there. So now we will get out of there, get an energy lead. They don't stick around to get farmed down, understandably so, and the team read was accurate. They are running the most common DD Dugong line with Umbreon as the third. We do grab the shield there. Umbreon doesn't hit particularly hard. Its redeeming quality, of course, is that immense bulk. But that is where Frenzy Plant comes into play, the great equalizer up against very bulky Pokemon. It hits like an absolute truck. It has stab. And there we go. Now getting some damage on the board here up against this Umbreon. The foul plays don't hit particularly hard, but they do come pretty fast here. So gonna throw with proper timing here. This should not KO the Umbreon here. And now it's coming down to the wire. I'm sure the timer, the timer is now coming up. We throw Azu in to force them to throw. I'm thinking we have to farm everything down here. That's our only play. They throw in the Dugong. They get through an Ice Shard, but the timer runs down, and we have more HP remaining. Good game. Well played to them. Oh man, that last one came down to the wire, but Serperior was left standing in the end. And here we go, another Deoxys lead again. Why, Lickitung, one of the best leads you can run right now in this current form of the Great League meta. Not only for DD, of course, as we just saw in that last one, it's a good matchup, but when they do this, they build up to 5 and throw their move, you can insta-swap with a very, very easy conscience, knowing that they're swapping out as well. You want to swap as fast as possible to not give whatever they bring in any sort of advantage. So we're basically even. Their Pokemon in the back is a Greedent. This could be double normal. I'm not sure. Double normal. Normal types do pair well with a psychic type like Deoxys, as they do protect it from the ghost types. But I do know that we win this pretty easily in the zeros. No one is shielding thus far, and we are going to go for this next play rough here. I don't imagine they shield either. I'm not sure what they could have in the back. Perhaps it is double normal. That's kind of what I'm reading in this moment, but I know that one move does not KO, and that Greedent will go down to a bubble, and it does. But we are not healthy enough to make it to a move. Deoxys will get that resisted farm down, and we are back in with our Lickitung. Going to throw the proper timing here. Get this damage off on the Deoxys because they are employing the Psycho Boost and Dip Strat, where they can come in, get off that fully powered boost, swap to clear that debuff. I know what they're doing, so we insta swap yet again. Not giving the whatever they swap in an energy lead, and it is the Deoxys Dugong Core yet again. Shields are still up. This is a very safe bait, and we do successfully pull that off. The reason why it's a safe bait is because they have not yet debuffed us, and although this is an ice type, it is also a water type as well, which means that Frenzy Plant does insane super effective damage. Now we will go for the Frenzy. This will probably get the shield as well, as I would imagine they want to lower the attack as much as possible before tanking a very hard-hitting Frenzy Plant. So we could have baited there as well. As the Deoxys is still pretty healthy, so they could have let that Frenzy go down and come in to get a farm on the Deoxys, but they didn't. We're going for a Frenzy Plant number 3, doesn't KO, but we do immediately swap into Licky to get this damage off here, and they do meet us with the Deoxys. I wasn't confident we could farm that down. I didn't want them farming us down, and they do make it to the Psycho Boost. This, of course, will KO, but I think Serperior with the bulk, healthy enough to dispatch of the remainder of this team. We're not even going to need a move. That Dugong is energy dry. Goes down to the super effective Vine Whip. Serperior coming in clutch yet again to close the game strong. Good game, well played. Guys, as you can see, the very common Deoxys Dugong core, no problem for this team. Here we go, Shadow Gligar. The way you play this is you can be very confident you will win this in all even shields versus the Shadow or the non-Shadow. We are not playing this correctly. What they like to do is get off their damage first. You can't let them do that, because then they can swap out into something crazy like this, and then you are at a severe health disadvantage. So what you need to be doing on a Gligar lead, if you run a Licky lead, is you get your damage off before they do. They have to land a dig. You will make it to the body slam before they do, and now because we let them get that dig off without giving any damage in return or grabbing any shields, we are now in a massive amount of trouble here with this Tentacruel. Nobody runs this thing. I was thinking, what the heck is going on here? What am I seeing? Tentacruel in the Open Great League with all of the buffed ground types. So yeah, and they go Sludge Wave. This game was really frustrating. Very, very frustrating. If we had just gotten off the body slam, we could have gotten an idea of where their motivations lied. We could have either gotten some big meaningful chip damage off on that Gligar, or grabbed a shield, and we would have been a lot better off. Because if they shield, you just match the shield, because you win all evens and you win the zeros. But now, because we didn't allow our Licky to have enough health, yeah, we've got a problem here. We've got this Medi, our Azumarril is our only Pokemon remaining. Even watching this back, I get really flustered because it was very annoying to see a Tentacruel. The one Tentacruel running through the Great League happens to find its way to us with an Azu and a Grass type in the back. That was very frustrating. So, yeah, I was trying to find the win con here. Watching back, we definitely don't have one because they will make it to another dig before we get to our move. And it is nighty-night sleep tight for us. So if you run into a Gligar lead, get your damage off, because you can see where they want to shield. If they want to take the damage, that can allow you to read the team better. But good game, well played to them. Oh man, that Tentacruel had me mauling, guys. You have no idea, but here we go. A beautiful lead coming in the form of nerfed Trevenant. They've got an Umbreon in the back. And we had just the answer to an Umbreon safe swap coming in the form of Azu. Again, why Azu in the bag? Quite lethal in Season 16 of the Great League. We all know this matchup. As old as the hills, as classic as it gets, Azumarill comes out on top quite comfortably, I must say. So we are free to overfarm by quite a bit here. We don't want to be particularly healthy, but we do want to have energy to put the pressure on the Trevenant, which will undoubtedly come back in. We could have overfarmed even more, but we do decide to just put this poor Umbreon out of its misery. They do cut the losses, play out the zeros, as it is not flippable for the Umbreon. That is exactly what they should be doing. And we do leave with energy to threaten this Trevenant here. They do let it go as they do survive, and we cannot farm down with bubbles. They are going to have to throw a move, but they are taking full advantage of their type advantage by over-farming here. Again, playing as they should. So now I'm thinking surely they're not ABA weak to Licky. So we come in expecting an insta-swap, but they were going to stay in. So we came in with Serperior expecting them to swap, but they were indeed ABA weak to Licky. You'd love to see it. They've got Shadow Claw, A-Slash. Now, should you be running Powder Snow on A-Slash? I think Shadow Claw is still the way to go generally. But with all the Lickies out, I do think Powder Snow has its merits for sure. Certainly in a Show 6 Pick 3 format, 1000%, but Open Great League, I am still sort of leaning on the side of Shadow Claw. I think in a Blind Threes format, that's going to give you the broadest coverage overall, but Powder Snow does have its merits. By no means should you be TMing away a Legacy Shadow Claw. If you have two, fantastic, but if all you have is Shadow Claw, definitely stick with that. But they are putting up a fight, being very annoying here. They baited us successfully, and they're just going drill run now. They're trying their best. It's not going to help them. We will give up the shield here because Serperior is healthy enough to handle the remainder of this team. Gonna get rid of this very annoying Sandslash, very stubborn Sandslash with a resisted aerial ace that does KO, and we will survive the Shadow Ball from the Trevenant and make it to this aerial ace here. We hit the move, game over here. The bulk comes in super clutch, but the game says no. Holy smokes. That got me really annoyed as well. We certainly did hit our move. We say bye-bye nonetheless. That could have gone south if that Trev had more energy. The game was insane yesterday, but good game well played to them. Man, the frame drops and the one-turn lag was insane, but we were still able to prevail. And here we go, another Shadow Gligar again. Why Lickitung, probably the best lead you can run right now in the Great League. So many people leading with Gligar and DD to counter Medi. And even if you're up against a Medi lead, you still do quite all right there. As well as everything else in between. Really, the only thing you don't want to see is an opposing normal type. But yeah, we got a little bit of lag there yet again. And we're quite fine to stay in here. Even though we do have an Azu in the back, we don't know what they have in the back. And Azu in the back generally does well up against most backlines in the Great League. They seem to be fine playing out the zeros here. Gonna go for another body slam on this Gligar here, and we do land it, and we take it out with a lick. Winning lead with Licky again, why it's the best lead. And we insta-swap into Serperior, and they've got their own Serperior in the back. We are behind by a turn here. This is interesting. Gonna go for Aerial Ace, of course. That's what you'll want to be doing in the mirror, but I'm thinking right now if we can get this thing low enough, which I do think we can. We did preserve our Licky. Perhaps we can come in, lick it down, and hope like heck that Azu can take out what they have in the back. If it's something like a Lantern, it is GG's 1000%, as you can imagine, but I really don't know at this point. It was very interesting to see a Serperior in the back. They are going to take us out here, so our plan, we preserved Licky. Licky quite tanky, has a very high HP stat. I'm thinking perhaps we can lick this thing down in time here. Going for the lick down, but holy smokes, those Vine Whips do KO. Again, there's a lot of lag in this battle. Not sure if we lagged a turn. Seems like we should have gotten that lick down, but perhaps that was an attack-weighted Serperior. I don't know. But they've got a mirror backline. Holy smokes. How very interesting. But we did get the energy lead, and they give up an early shield here. So we're ahead by a fast move, so we just basically auto-win. We're just going to go straight play rough here. Not going to risk anything with a very risky bait here, especially with the Azu being this healthy. We're just going straight play rough here, maintaining our shield advantage as they did shield very early. We do survive all of this. Now, when we get low enough, we'll have to start shielding because their play is to get us within perhaps Ice Beam range. What I don't want them to do is successfully bait us. That's why we're playing very cautiously here. We do grab their final shield. Gonna let this go. We do survive another play rough, but after this, we're gonna have to make a call. Going for another play rough here. They are still pretty healthy, but I do believe with the fast move pressure, it will be in bubble range at this point. So This is just about GG's, my friends. Gonna shield up this potential Ice Beam here. That's all they need to get the job done on their end, but not gonna happen. We go for the Ice Beam, and yeah, getting that one bubble ahead, taking out that Serperior. If they weren't out of move, so the Serperior went down just as they were getting to an Aerial Ace, and we do take out the opposing Azu in the mirror. Again, why you'll want to be running Play Rough for the Azu mirror. I cannot stress that enough. So yeah, good game, well played to them. That is the team, my friends. Again, I wanted to give you guys a very strong, balanced team. ABA teams seem to have some sort of stigma these days, so I wanted to depart from that very, very strong strategy of a conventional ABB line and run a nice balanced team, also known as an ABC team. Which is a balanced team that can do very, very well in all of its neutral matchups across the board, which should set you guys up for success. A bit soft to Reggie, but it does take a team effort. If it's on the lead, you win the twos. If you have a Licky that hits the break point, most Lickies will hit that break point. If things do go awry, Serperior does quite well with resisted damage up against Reggie as well. So Reggie, not a big deal. Everything else in between, this team quite dominant. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.